Yo, what is going on, FSU family, Seminole Nation, and the 863 tribe? We are live on Tuesday. It is another episode of the Hangover. Audio got in my ear. Sorry about that. But we are live on another episode of the Hangover. And we got, a little bit of, we got a new commitment, man. We got guys standing out in practice. We just had practice just ended about an hour or so ago. So we got a little bit of news out of that. It's March 16th on a Tuesday in 2021. My man Mark finally put my videos up. Y'all sold out and showed love on that. Shout out to everybody, man. But yeah, man, we finna get into this thing today. We got a little question to answer. We might have a little guest on the show today as well. So we got all of that and more coming up, man, on the Hangover. Stay tuned and be ready, because we in here.
Talk to the boys that sit on them benches. I never talk to the boys that sit on them benches. I was in the game on 4th inches.
Now it's time to go to work. Let's go. How's everybody doing today? Hit that like button on your way in. As always, you are here on 863 Seminole TV, and I'm your host, POLK, a.k.a. a.k.a. the goddamn truth. And here we are. And let's get all the formalities out of the way. You can also follow this on PODBEAN and Spotify. Like always, man, if you can't catch the live streams, catch us over there on PODBEAN and Spotify. They will be uploaded after this show goes off. If you're driving and can't watch YouTube, whatever the reason, maybe you don't want to watch my ugly face and you just want to listen in, go over there on those platforms, and you can also support me in that way. We're about to get in to the roll call real quick before we get started. Got a little bit of news, a little bit of camps happened this past weekend. And for pretty much for the entire month of March, camps have been going on. The high school camps, the 7-on-7s. So we got a little bit of stuff coming out of those. Some recruiting updates. FSU got a new commitment over the weekend. We'll touch on him for a little bit. Florida basketball. Got a little bit of stuff going on there. No, we did not win the tournament, the ACC tournament, but you know what? I think we got a solid seed. We'll go over that. And a little bit of notes coming out of practice today. Practice just ended about an hour or so ago. So we'll touch on some of that. I plan on having a guest on here, and we'll get some of his insight on FSU and what he thinks going on. You guys might have watched him before, so we'll have some of that. And then to end it all off, guys, as always, we'll do the Q&A, let you guys ask you questions. I answer to the best of my ability. But thanks, everybody, for tuning in, showing up, and showing love. I got Tyler in the building, EMG, You Can't Handle the Truth podcast, Todd Pope, Malik Simmons says, Go Noles. Thank you, Malik. I know you're a Clemson fan, but thank you for the Go Noles shout out. Todd Pope, D. Thompson, Roderick Nixon says, when I'm dead and gone, when my boy garnered and gold to I'm dead and gone, Go Noles. Maiden Dade, my favorite Miami guy. Robert Laster, Rose, Miami Flow, Ray Fitty, Montre, and there we go. 21 people in here, man. Hit the like button. Let's get it on. Let's get it cracking. First order of business, we're going to touch on FSU basketball. So we lose to Georgia Tech again in the NCAA tournament for the championship. So no, Florida State basketball will not be taking home the ACC championship this year. They earned a 4th seed in the bracket in the March Madness. They earned a 4th seed, which I actually think is a good thing for them. I think that 4th seed actually played into their favor. And they don't have to worry about the likes of a Gonzaga. I think we kind of match up better with the Michigan. It's a solid draw, in my opinion. I think the 4th seed was a solid draw. And you play what? UNC Greensboro. You play UNC Greensboro in the first round. We'll take that for what it's worth. Me personally, I'll be shocked if this team makes the Sweet 16. If I'm being honest with you guys, I said it a few weeks ago. This team isn't last year's team. I think last year's team had a legit shot at a Final Four. This team, but the way they play, and they do play up to their opponent, but they also play down to their opponents. Like Montre just said here, 25 turnovers. I mean, you're not going to win anything like that. I expect us to get past the first round, but then I wouldn't be shocked if we didn't make it past the second personally. So that's all for the football talk. Okay, we're looking good on connection. Look like my connection might have been messing up, but I think we're still good on the connection. I said football talk. I meant basketball talk. Now we're going to get into why we all are here. First, I want to start off with some recruiting. Quincy McAdoo. He had a little conversation piece. He says he's solid to the Noles as of right now, and he's actually helping the team or helping recruit guys to this year's class. So shout out to Quincy McAdoo. I still think that's going to be a tough full if Arkansas goes all in for him. He was in some 7-on-7 camps too this weekend. I saw him make one pretty good catch, but I only saw one highlight of him. Kevin Coleman. If you don't know who Kevin Coleman is, go look him up. 5'11", 170 out of St. Louis, Missouri. 5-star, the second overall wide receiver in the class of 2022. Number 15th overall player in the nation. He had great things to say about the likes of Travis Hunter. He said Hunter's recruiting him hard, and he's intrigued by playing the best corner in the nation every day in practice. And Hunter wants to go against the best wide receiver every day in practice. Iron sharpens iron. And that's the mindset that those two have. He also has a very good relationship with Nico Marchio. Those guys were actually in a camp this past weekend. I believe it was this past weekend. Very recently. If it wasn't this past weekend, maybe it was the weekend before. But those two were just in a camp together, throwing, and he was catching passes from Nico. They were on the same 7-on-17. So that is dope. Julian Armelia, 6'6", offensive lineman out of South Florida, down to 285 pounds. They're saying he has slimmed down. He's looking more the part. He was looking great. He was in the recent camp. Now, this wasn't last weekend. I believe it was the weekend before last. He was in that same camp with Nigel Kelly. And they say he pretty much dominated that one as well. They said he was up to about 320 at one point, and he didn't have the same movement, didn't have the same mobility, but he really stood out at that Miami Under Armour camp. And scouts say while he is projected as a tackle, from what they're saying, man, he was dominant on the inside at guard and center. So Julian Armelia is looking to raise his stock. Najee Kelly, of course, we all know about him and what he did in that camp. And he might be the hottest recruit in the whole country, really. He's continuing to get a ton of reviews and people are raving on him. But teammate, wide receiver, Devon Mortimer, 3-star out of Dillard and over there in Fort Lauderdale. He committed this past weekend. I tried to find some tape on him. He doesn't really have any huddle tape. He's got some, but it's from 2018. And judging anything from 2018 and it's 2021, I think is unfair to him. It's not the same kid from 2018 that we would be seeing right now. But the word on him is speed, 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 speed. Speed is his game, apparently. He is extremely fast. He's about, I didn't write his dimensions down. I think he's about 5'11-ish or so, like 160 pounds. So he's on the smaller end of it. But he is teammates of Najee Kelly and on that Dillard squad. So I don't know. I'm hearing it's not a package deal. It's a good look. As you know, people have been coming hard for Kelly. There's been talks that Kelly's recruitment still open and all this. I think getting a teammate, while I don't think it secures his recruitment, I do think that that's a big deal. And I do think that, it can help soften, if he's looking around and he has somebody who he can relate to, it can help soften the blow or, help keep him in the fold. My bad, guys. Messaging somebody. And then of course, we're talking about Nico. There's another wide receiver that FSU's looking to flip. And that's a current Penn State commit, 4-star wide receiver out of Ohio, Caden Saunders, another guy that Nico's close with. So Nico's out on the trail putting in work. Nico's on the trail putting in work with some of the 2 better wide receivers in the country. So you got to love that. Caden Saunders is another guy who's supposed to be speed. And I think they say he runs about a 4.3-ish over there. So we'll see if Nico's able to get some of these guys, man. We'll see if Nico's able to get any of these guys. And last but certainly not least, if you've been living under a rock, is the only way you haven't seen the spectacular show that our main man, Mr. Travis Hunter, continues to put on at these camps. And this last weekend was no exception. I mean, double teamed, it don't matter. Defense, it don't matter. He got a pick. Go route over 2 defenders, got to pick, mossed them. The kid is a cheat code. If you haven't watched any of his clips from this past weekend, go check out our man Travis Hunter, man. Go check out our man Travis Hunter. He was absolutely untouchable. And a part of his game that I haven't seen up until this point was the trash talk. He was not only was he out there, man, just giving them the business, but the kid was trash talking the whole time. Started to remind me of a little baby Dion, but we're not going to go that far because I've heard people say they need to put number 2 on him. Look, if he wants number 2, he's got to go out there and earn it. And I mean earn it on a college field, not just a high school field. But that's a whole different conversation for another day. But Travis Hunter was absolutely unguardable out there. Again, like he always is, the best offensive and defensive player on the field at all times. Why he's not the number 1 overall recruit in the country, who the hell knows? I got a few guests. I got a guest. We're going to bring him on here in a minute. I want to go over these little bit of notes. hold on. There we go. I want to go over these notes real quick that I got from the interviews from practice today. Not really a lot, because frankly, I hate listening to Mike Norvell's practices. His interviews, I can't get nothing from him. In my opinion, he's a very boring interview. Which at the end of the day, I don't care as long as he gets that coaching thing on the, we good there. But just honestly, I listened more to and Chris Thompson, man, he was no better. Listening to him talk these tight ends got kind of boring. I listened to Cam. Anyway, some of the word we got. Gant is up over 200 pounds at that safety position. Jordan Travis is apparently night and day from last year as far as passing the ball. They say Mike Norvell says he's way better at this point than he was last year. Malik McClain is a freshman who continues to be mentioned in that wide receiver room as continuing to make plays. Same with Jackson West. Norvell, Coach Thompson, they're very high on Jackson West, and Jackson West might make more of an impact year one than I originally thought. But that tight end room is loaded. And speaking of tight ends, man, Cam McDonald seems to have emerged as the leader of that group. And he's getting a lot of praise himself. So there you go. That's all I could really stand to listen to as far as these interviews went. I think he might have mentioned a few other guys, but those were the big names that stood out to me. Malik McClain, not a surprise there. Oh, he did mention Keyshawn Helton looking a lot better, which again, watch that last episode, man. If you watch that last episode, Helton is one of those guys who I said if he doesn't bring it this off season, he could lose a lot. He has a lot to lose, in my opinion. He got to bring it, or one of these Malik McClains, Burrells, and Dustin Hill's not even on campus yet. One of these guys could take that spot. But Helton seems to have played well. And as far as the older guys, though, that's really all they seem to mention is Keyshawn Helton. Jordan Young, I still don't think I've heard his name once. Ontario gets brought up every now and then as a steady competitor, but not anything flashy or spectacular. And Brian Robinson, while I've seen clips of him, I don't know if they've really mentioned his name much as of yet. They did mention the other guy from last year, Dontario D. Williamson. I'm probably saying his first name wrong. I know his last name is Williamson. It's 6'3" wide receiver. Say he's standing out there. Darren Williamson. There we go. Darren Williamson. Thank you, Rose. They say he out there. He's making his impact felt as well. So the young guys, man, are stepping up, and these old heads don't get their act together. They might not see the field. They're going to see the field as far as what I think is most likely going to happen is you're going to see the older guys on the field beginning of the season. And once they get a better feel for the younger guys, that they can be confident that they know what route to run and the blocking scheme and all that stuff that comes with it, you're going to start seeing those younger guys phase those older guys out. That's just the way I see it. No, Sniper Hunter Washington is not on campus yet. So while we wait for my guest, which I sent him the link, so we'll wait for him to pop up here. We'll just continue to talk about that dang on Travis Hunter, man. How many of you guys actually saw or watched that clip? Maiden Dade says Max Prep. Okay, I'll check out Max Prep later on. Because what he had on Huddle was old film and I didn't want to use it. But Max Prep, I'll check that out. That damn Travis Hunter, man, it's to the point where when I watch Travis Hunter, I'm like, is he even real? And I can't think of too many. In recent years, man, I can't think of a high school kid that's captivated the nation the way this one has. And I don't understand how they continue to slight him and all the. They just recently, I think it was Rivals. Rivals just recently did an article that said, matter of fact, let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna find it real quick because I retweeted it and was like, "This is a joke." I'm not going to show the actual article. I'm just going to read what the headline said. Oh, here's another tidbit of information in case anyone cares. Former 4-star Warren Thompson apparently is walking on. He didn't get a scholarship from what I'm hearing, but he's walking on to Arkansas. So there's that. Hold on, I think. Okay, Sam just popped up. I'm gonna bring you on here in 1 minute, Sam. Give me 1 minute. I'm trying to find this article real quick. Okay. Before I bring Sam on, they did an article. Can Jaheim Singletary, Ohio State Buckeye commit, I think he's the number 3 overall corner in the country, have a case for the top corner in the nation? That's a fine question, except in that entire article, they didn't mention Travis Hunter's name one time. Only thing they mentioned was the other guy in California. They didn't mention Hunter's name one time. That is a joke. That is a joke. But anyway, let me bring Sam in here.
What up, bro?
What's going on, man? Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. What's up, man? What's going on, man? Hey, I appreciate you having me on, man. I really do.
Yes, sir. Let everybody know. Go ahead. Yeah. Sell yourself.
Oh, man. It's Sam from the Listen Up podcast. You can follow me on Twitter. Well, I'm pretty problematic on Twitter, especially today at More Life One. But the Listen Up podcast, man, I think we've been rocking for like a year and a half, I think now. So, go subscribe to that. And, and I appreciate the work you do over here, man. I really do. I've been checking you out. I think you've been out for a year, haven't you?
I've been doing this, a little bit over a year, but
yeah, man, yeah. I've been checking you out for a minute, man. So you actually motivated me to come over to YouTube because we were just doing just a regular Apple Pod at one time.
I saw y'all was just on the podcast.
Yeah. So I appreciate you having me on though, man. So what y'all talking about, man? What's going on?
Man, we're talking about whatever you want to talk about today. What you got for me?
No, I don't have much, man. I'm actually I'm excited about the spring. I think I did an interview with Antoine Staley from the Democrat, and that went really well. And he actually got me a little bit more optimistic than what I was going into the spring, to be honest with you.
Let me tell y'all something. If y'all don't know Sam, that's why he laughing, because he know. Now, I love what them guys do over there. But they say some stuff sometimes where I'm like, come on, y'all ain't giving them a chance. So to hear Sam be positive, I gotta love it.
Well, okay, so I'm actually not negative on the podcast. I'm just negative on the timeline, to be honest with you. I'm really quite positive on the podcast. And people just listen to the podcast, they be like, what is he doing? But I try to be rational, and I try to. I'm the type of person, I want to know what I'm getting to when I get into it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be lied to. You know what I'm saying? So I don't go along with a lot of fluff, and I kind of get irritated because it seems like sometimes they're selling us a vision or something, and then we get to the season, we're like, what the hell is going on? So I just be kind of, I be chilling, man. I really be chilling.
So let me ask you, man. What do you, because I know your opinions on what you say is a bunch of lies that Mike Norvell has told. And
some things he just
right. And there's some things that I agree with you on that one.
Right.
But what I want to get into is I want to get into Marvin Wilson just for a second and why I know we on spring, but I just want your opinion on this.
Okay.
I was 100% behind what Marv did.
Mm-hmm.
Because especially if it didn't happen the way it was perceived to have happened, I was 100% behind it. But what are your thoughts on Marv? The fact that not only that he came out against his coach,
mm-hmm.
but you didn't have the season he was supposed to have.
Right.
Do you think that's going to hurt him in the draft? Let alone not only just his own field play, but now GMs are going to say, well, this guy's going to be talking out against coaches.
Well, it's tough because I wasn't that high on Marv to begin with, right? Like I I was of the opinion that he wasn't very well developed. It was a lot of rumors out there, and I'm not gonna say who told me, but it was things out there like saying that he's not very strong. So if you go and watch the Syracuse game, Willie first year, right? And we got blew out by Syracuse, right? By Syracuse the first year on the Willie.
Did we get blowed out?
Yeah, the first year on the Willie, we got blew out by Syracuse. I think that's when everybody was like, yo, what the hell is going on around here, right?
I probably tried to forget that game, but
yeah,
go ahead.
Probably did. But in that game, they did a lot of A-gap stuff. They just ran the ball straight at the A-gap. Like they would just bludgeon us to death, right? And you would see a lot of teams just kind of run up the middle against Florida State. And I was like, damn, well, that's kind of weird. And at that time, the rumor was out there that these guys are not very strong. Like these guys are not very strong. They look big, but they're not very strong. And I asked somebody about Marvin, which was going into last year. I asked him about Marvin, what kind of season do they think he's going to have? And they said, he had to come back because he hasn't proved that he's strong enough to be a legitimate D tackle, a first round D tackle that can start the run and get to the passer. He has pass rushing moves at times, but if you get your hands on him, he can be overpowered at times. And you see a lot of him. If you watch a lot of his film, you'll notice him on the ground a lot. And that happens with guys who are not stronger they need to be. I'm sorry about that, man. That's what I was trying to come through. But yeah. So, but he's not that strong. So he wasn't that strong. So going into the season, he slimmed down because they were going to put him more as a 3-tech on the edge a little bit, right? They were going to kind of put Robert Cooper in the middle, Durden on the edge, him on the edge, which you don't have to be quite as strong on the edge. And they was going to kind of like use him to cover up for Amari Gaynor so they could blitz a little bit more. And it just didn't work because Marvin Wilson wasn't strong enough. And a lot of that's because they didn't have the offseason they needed with COVID. They didn't have the offseason that he expected to have. He was supposed to slim down and build up. So if you remember during the spring, they had lost a bunch of weight. I don't know if y'all remember that. Like it was like right before the spring, the players had lost weight. Like they were showing pictures and Marvin looked skinny. And the guy told me the reason why they was getting skinny because they had to build them back up. Like they were going to build them up stronger with just muscle. But then COVID happened. They weren't able to do that. And it kind of, I think it just made his game look way worse than what it was. I think
that makes sense, though. That makes sense.
Right. So, and that happened to a lot of guys because they wanted to redo their bodies. And I heard the only guy that was able to actually take advantage of it was Amari Gaynor. Because he lives in Tallahassee, so he was able to get the meal plans and eat because he's right there in Tallahassee. His dad's a former player, I think. So he was able to kind of build his body. So if you look at Amari Gaynor, his body looked totally different going into the season last year. Now they didn't do a good job using him. Yeah, but he did look like a totally different player. When he was out there playing. So, I'm not as down on Marvin Wilson. I think if you get the right NFL team, they give him a year to build muscle. I think he can be productive as hell,
Okay. All right. I just want your thoughts on that. But let's get to the spring.
The fan base is down on Marvin, all right? They like,
whoa. They don't like him at all. I spent a lot of time defending Marv, just for the fact that I thought a lot of things that he did. To me, Marv made Durden look way better than Durden really is. And I think you saw that when Marv goes down, Durden is even on the field. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because Marv does demand some attention and he's able to, free up some space for Durden to work.
FSU has been out-muscled the last, 3 years. They've been out-muscled. So if you watch a lot of games start off with teams just running straight at us over and over and over again. And what happens is you see these games, and then by the third and fourth quarter, because the middle of your defense is worn out, now you're giving up all these bombs because everybody's overcompensating, right? The linebackers trying to overcompensate for the D linemen. Then you see the linebackers getting brutalized. Then the safety trying to overcompensate for the linebackers, and people are not doing their job. So I think it is a big deal that they got a full spring and they had a full offseason. Because I heard after before the Duke games, I heard around the Clemson game, they were starting to shut players down to get them, So they basically had a spring. This is their second spring. Because I heard from what they did last year after the Duke game, it was a lot of lifting weights, like getting back to the fundamentals and the basics. So, Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
I think Storms is one of the more underrated hires that nobody really is talking about.
I think if there's a reason for you to be positive and for you to be optimistic, Storms Storms and Alex Atkins and Mike Norvell's ability to get yards out of the run game is things that you can hang your hat on, right? I think those are things that we can say we know we're going to get that going into every season. They're going to develop a great running game. Storm's going to have guys physically ready to play. I think that's ideally like those are the guys if you want to feel good about the program, in my opinion.
Who do you think is gonna have the most success from this offseason? Like what players are you looking at to be like, I expect them to make a jump? And who do you think might lose a spot? Like who's on the bubble of losing their spot?
I think we're always 1 year ahead of hype. In my opinion, I saw us do this with Calvin Benjamin a few times. We've done it with tight ends. I know we did it with Nick O'Leary 1 year. We was way ahead of the hype on Nick O'Leary. We've been ahead of hype on defensive players constantly. So I still think in the wide receiver group, I think Ontario Wilson is going to have a really good year. Like I think he's going to surprise people because last year they kind of started featuring him a little bit more last year as all those other guys went down. So I think there's a chance, and he didn't have a full spring last year because he was out academically, which I don't think anybody ever said that, but I found out that he was out academically last year.
During the spring?
No, during the summer, actually. So going into the season. So he was out academically going into the summer. And then I think, because if I recall, he wasn't playing that much early in the season. And I have to go back and read my text message, but he was out for like a majority of them getting ready for the start of the season when they came back from COVID. So I expect Ontario Wilson and Andre Parchman, the guy from Kansas, to have big years. I think Cam McDonald might actually have a way better year than he had last year too, because I think he's going to have better, consistent quarterback play, and he'll be a year stronger and a year better in the system too. Toa Philly. I think Toa Philly has a really good year. I think he busts out on the scene this year.
He's the fan base's favorite. Everybody loves. I said when they got him, he was the most talented back. But that was before he was bursting on the scene.
Right.
But he's everybody's favorite, man. Everybody loves them some Toa Philly. So we'll definitely see. Somebody do y'all really want me to ask Sam? I already know your answer. Somebody wanting to know, what is your opinion on Fuller?
I think if Fuller would have came with a seasoned defensive coordinator on this level, I think he could have developed into a really good defensive coordinator. I think he's out of this league as a D coordinator on this level. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think it's because he's a bad coach. I really don't believe that. I just think you need time on this level to develop as a coordinator. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's tough, even with Dan Lanning at Georgia, but he's coaching under Kirby Smart, right? So Kirby's able to help him along the way. You know what I'm saying? And that matters. Even when Jimbo brought German Pruitt in, he had Sal Sincere, who had defensive coordinator experience. Charles Kelly had defensive coordinator experience. So you had people to lean on. Who is Adam Fuller leaning on over there to help him? None of those guys have experience coordinating the defense.
None of them.
So I felt like that marriage is messed up because, and it's not all Fuller. He's bad. I mean, the results are the results. I mean, you can't, but it's like, why is he bad? You know what I'm saying? Like, because he, and the thing about it, like I think I said it before the season, I didn't think he was going to be good going into the season. I was adamant about that he was not going to be good because they gave up a lot of points at Memphis. But Memphis was so good on defense, on special teams, and so good on offense, it covered up a lot of the holes where you didn't really care about them being in shootouts. But at the end of the day, on this level, you have to be able to get stops. And I don't think there's enough of Adam Fuller's bag of tricks to get that done. I mean, we'll see, because they said they switched defense this year. So they're going to be more 4-2-5. And it's crazy to think that, because last year they was stubborn on being in base. They were stubborn about being in base, and that made no sense to me at all. So
I didn't understand last year I didn't understand how you went one game, like you said, you'd be in base 4-3. The next game, you're literally running a 3-3.
Right.
They didn't know what they was doing last year. So I guess my question is, like, what do you have any sort of faith that Fuller can at least let's just top 50 defense. Let's not even get too crazy. Top 50.
That's actually pretty good. A top 50 defense.
I know, because we were like we're like on the 120s or something last year. Something crazy. Man. Is there any chance that let's do top 100? Can he get below 100? Can he be a top 90 defense?
It's gonna be tough, man. I mean, it's gonna be tough. I've said that, first of all, there's not a lot of talent on this defense to begin with, right? So you have one pass rusher, right? You got one pass rusher. You don't have an inside linebacker, right? You have.
Well, they're trying to put Gainer there.
So you're putting Gainer there. You're putting Gainer inside linebacker, and then you're going to put Dix next to him. Like, hopefully Dix is better. I think I like Marv.
I'm expecting them to have Gainer and Rice. Maybe Dix works his way in there, but I think they're going to line up Gainer and Rice to start the season.
Right. So if you go Gainer and Rice, you're going to be really athletic right there. But now teams are going to run at you. So can those guys find gaps, shoot gaps, and make it happen in the run game? That's tough. And if that don't happen, then that means you got to play numbers. You got to add numbers to stop the run. And if you got to add numbers to stop the run, do we have faith in the secondary?
Those DBs got to hold up.
So I'm of the opinion that they won't be good on defense next year. But I think if you, my opinion is that the formula for winning next year is going to be become the best red zone defense you can become. I would rep
bend don't break.
I would rep red zone over and over and over and over again. And I would and Norvell needs to go into like a triple option type offense where you're going for it on fourth down, right? You need to be stealing possessions on special teams, and you need to kind of try to milk games away and keep the ball away from your defense, basically. That would be my ideal scenario for them going into the season next year.
Okay.
In which, if you watch the North Carolina game, that's what they did. In the North Carolina game, that's what they did. They just stole possession from North Carolina, and if you take enough possession from a good offense, you got a chance to win the game at the end.
Yeah, gotta force some turnovers.
Well, they made them kick field goals. Remember, they made North Carolina kick field goals. They made them go for it on fourth down. They stopped them in the red zone a lot. So I think that is the ideal scenario of how you're going to win football games. And most of college football is played that way. But as for the state fans, we're not used to watching it that way. We're not used to watching a defense that just allows people to go up and down the field and nobody ever get to the quarterback. That's not us. That's not who we are. So we gotta. Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be tough. It's on defense. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
You think this Fuller last year? You think because people ask me this all the time. Do you think he makes it through the whole season? I say yeah, he gonna make it through the season. Just because I think if you firing him mid-season, I think then this team says we're not having the season that we want to have. I don't think we're gonna have a great season anyway, but I think 7 games is doable. But if you fire him Fuller, I don't even think we're winning 7 games. So one, I think he makes it through the season.
Right.
But if the defense doesn't look any better, I have a hard time seeing how he comes back.
Okay, so I guess my opinion is that does he? Okay, is Fuller gonna get? I think Fuller is gonna get fired halfway through the season, right?
Oh wow!
Yeah, okay. I think that's why they're moving to the 4-2-5 because Marv has more experience in the 4-2-5. Woodson has more experience in the 4-2-5. That's your linebacker and your DB coach. They both have experience in that type of defense. I don't think they had any experience whatsoever in the defense he was trying to run last year. I heard that Norvell wanted to fire him after the Louisville game.
I heard the same thing. I think I heard it on your show, actually.
Yeah. Who called me and told me that? Oh, Big Game. Okay. Let me know that. He wouldn't care that I said that either. But so I'm of the opinion that he's gonna get fired midway through the season. But I guess, I mean, what's everybody's expectations though? Because I don't see 7 wins, right? I see 6 wins. And we gotta stay healthy. We gotta stay healthy to get those 6 wins too.
6 wins with a chance to win 7.
Right, with the bowl game, right?
With the bowl game.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll bite on that. but that them first five games are tough, man. I mean, if you go out against,
I think the first 5 is the doable ones. It's that last 5 that you have a problem with.
well, the last 5 is even rougher, man. Because I don't see how they're going to beat Boston College and Florida back to back.
That Boston College game in November is going to be tough.
Yeah, dude.
That's an away game too. So that yeah.
Boston College was good last year. I mean, I'm not saying good like when the ACC good, but I'm saying like they was good enough to stay in any game they want to be in. They was in games.
It was a good team, and like I said, that's a away game in November up in Massachusetts. So
with a good quarterback,
yeah,
really good quarterback.
But see, my thing with the first games are okay. I get it. We opened up at Notre Dame. My thing is, I think you're catching Notre Dame at a good time. They breaking in a new quarterback, a new offensive line. They losing some defensive guys, and that's a home game.
Yeah, that's a home game.
I think that's going to be a Labor Day game too. So I think that's like going to be prime time. We're going to be the only game on TV that night, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me make sure. I want to make sure. I thought it was a neutral site.
No, I think that's a home game right there.
Okay. Well, I mean, okay. I don't see. My thing about Notre Dame is this: FSU could be bringing in a lot of new players too. You know what I'm saying? So they breaking in new players. We bringing in new players. Our players are going to be freshmen, true freshmen, and maybe redshirt sophomore. Their players are going to kind of be like redshirt juniors on the offensive line. I mean, they've recruited well on the offensive line, so they're going to have redshirt juniors on the offensive line. Some juniors on the defense. It'll be their first time playing, but they've been in the system for 2-3 years. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
North Carolina's done well in recruiting. I believe that the game's going to be closer than everybody thinks. I think we're going to the fourth quarter with Notre Dame. And I think that'll have everybody feeling good about the team. Like, well, we was in that game, so we got a chance.
I'm confident we can win it, but we all confident in March. So
I think we have a chance to win the game, and we still got to see: do we get another left tackle? Do we get another tackle to come on the team? Right. Yeah. So if you get another tackle, how does that change everything? Because I think if you kick Love Taylor on the inside,
he needs to be playing inside. Yeah.
Right. And you go ahead and if you feel good about Robert Scott, is it Robert Scott?
Yeah.
Can you put Robert Scott at right tackle, put your new grad transfer left tackle, and then put Washington put Washington the inside, and then with Maurice Smith? I think you got something there. You know what I'm saying? Now you can sustain injuries because you got enough beef. You know what I'm saying?
Depth, yeah.
Right. Or worst case scenario, you let them fight it out between Washington and Lucas in the at right left tackle. I mean, left guard. I mean, I think you got something right there. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be, can you get another tackle in here? And can you find a pass rush, man? Because you're not really deep on the D line and the D tackles anymore. So you got to get guys off the field, man. You got to be able to get stops on third down, and you got to be able to force some turnovers every now and then. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if Coop gonna be able to hold up for 4 quarters. I mean, Coop's a big guy. That's a lot of snaps.
Coop and Lovett, I'm not too worried about.
But when you get behind them guys, man.
Right. It's once you get behind them that I'm like, okay. I mean, I like Briggs, but that's an undersized guy playing inside there. And everybody talks about Malcolm Ray, but we ain't seen Malcolm Ray do nothing his entire time here yet. So the jury's still out on him.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, I was high on Malcolm Ray when he came out, right? So he's gained good weight. So he could make a splash. I think Briggs is going to play at the other end, the big end, outside of Jermaine Johnson. That's what I think is going to happen.
Well, and I think they'll be bringing the kid we got from South Carolina. They're going to bring him on the inside a lot too. Keir Thomas, out of Miami.
See, now the thing I heard about him was he is undersized, small arms.
He's like a 6'2", 6'3", 270 or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, he's not long. He's not long.
Not long at all. So I don't know how much impact he can actually make unless you're blitzing, using him, to do stunts and things like that. So we'll see, man. How do these pieces fit together? And like you look at the secondary, Demari Tate. We didn't get to see Demari Tate last year. So how good is he going to be? Akeem Dent, do you move him back to safety? Put him back at free safety next to Travis Jay? I mean, but you need a big safety and fuller scheme. So do you keep Brian Robinson at that safety spot to be your strong safety? It's a lot of pieces, man. And Brownlee, you got Brownlee on the other side. So how does all that stuff fit together? That's why I'm happy to go to the spring game to find out what they're going to do. Like, how's this all going to go together?
I think the secondary for me, and not because we ain't got nothing proven back there. First of all, what you sipping on?
Crown Peach.
Man, let me tell you something about that. Let me tell you something about that peach. So
Yeah.
I have it. I got it. I'm over here in Hawaii, so we don't have it. But I had somebody mail me some. I didn't realize one night I went through a whole bottle. Didn't even realize how much I had drunk.
You don't need to chase.
It's so smooth. It's so smooth.
You don't need to chase it, dude.
Talk about being sick the next day. Like I literally drunk the whole bottle in maybe 2-3 hours. I was like, man, that Crown Peach is good though.
Yeah, it's good as hell.
Good.
It's good as hell. I found 6 bottles in the liquor store, and I've been looking for this shit for like 3-4 months now. I bought all 6 bottles.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
I gotta have all that. I gotta have all that.
My thing with the secondary though, man, I just believe from numbers we're gonna find a good 5. I just no proof to back that up, right? That's just me being optimistic.
But how many years have we said that though? How many years have we went into the season and said, "Oh, we got the pieces in the secondary. This is gonna work out. We got the guys. They all versatile." And then we get to the game. It's like nobody knows what the fuck they're got to do. They don't know what to go at, what to run at. We don't know.
You're not wrong. I'm just trying to have that faith. Like,
but I like the pieces though, right? I like Akeem.
Like you said,
I like Brownlee. Yeah, I like Damari Tate. We didn't even get to see Damari Tate, but I like Damari Tate. You know what I'm saying? Like, matter of fact, however the secondary play this year is going to determine to me what position we put what's the guy named? The 5 all-star, 5 world guy?
Oh, Travis Hunter.
Him and Sam McCall, right? Is it Sam McCall? Because he can play wide receiver also. Yeah. So if you can put those guys on offense, because you got Damari Tate, Akeem Dent, Brownlee, and all these guys that can. I never
really thought about it like that, but
yeah, but we need playmakers on offense to make it happen. So Parchment gonna be gone because I think he only got 1 year.
Yeah, he's like a grad transfer. Yeah,
Ontario Wilson's gonna be gone. I know people's hound Burrell, but I would warn people about Burrell. I think at this level, Burrell's a blocker and a possession wide receiver.
Well, he's definitely a possession guy. He's not a guy that's going to take the top off.
Right.
But he could be a strong red zone threat.
Possibly.
But Dustin Hill's not even on that campus yet. I think we got to watch out for Dustin Hill.
You're talking about Destin. Yeah, Destin. Yeah, Destin's pretty good. I think Destin's gonna be a big time player too. But yeah. I think he's a. So I think now I want to say this right. So Norvell likes to put the big guys in the inside and the little guys on the outside. So I think Hill plays in the outside in this scheme. And if you had like a guy like Hunter, you'll put Hunter in the inside. And that's how Norvell likes to create matchups that way. So you'll see a lot of Parchment in the inside this year. You'll see a lot of Ontario Wilson in the inside. And you'll see, what's my little guy name from Tallahassee? Helton on the outside, which I think is dumb to do that. But
yeah, Helton don't need to be on the outside.
Well, and see, that's my one thing about Norvell I do have an issue with. His passing game leaves a lot to be desired. Like it's very simple and it's all about he want to take one guy and throw the ball to one guy 95 times. You know what I'm saying?
Now, is that because at Memphis all he had was one guy?
Well, I mean,
because it is Memphis,
right? But you're still recruiting good. I mean, in most offenses, though, you want to be able to be multiple. You want to be multiple in what you do. You don't want to know what guys are putting the ball at. But then you have guys like I know Willie Taggart was one of those type of guys that if he got a good player, he isolated that good player everywhere he could. And then you have guys like early on with Chad Morris at Clemson. Chad Morris the same way. You know, he would isolate one guy and that guy would get the ball 100 times. I remember like he had 1 year where like when Chad Morris was at Clemson, I didn't even know Andre Hopkins was even on the damn team because he threw the ball to so much Sammy Watkins. I mean, he was running the ball to Sammy Watkins, throwing the ball to Sammy Watkins. Then Andre Hopkins get drafted. He's like the best wide receiver in the league. I'm like, this dude was at Clemson? Like, so it's crazy. Like, so some guys are like that, where they be like, "Oh, I got a good guy. I'm gonna get this guy the ball all day long." You know what I'm saying? So it really just matters. It's just really how you look at it. So, it's how you favor your offense, basically.
I'd be interested to see how much of the reins he's gonna let, because I think we all think Milton's gonna be the starter.
Mm-hmm.
I think Travis is gonna push him, but I think they brought him here to be the starter, in my opinion.
I think it's gonna depend on how the offensive line holds up. I think it really depends on how does the offensive line hold up. If they can't pass protect, then I think Travis is gonna play. But if they can prove that they can pass protect, I think Milton will be the starter the whole year. I really think that's all it depends on.
So if Milton is the starter the whole year, that's my question. Like, how much faith does Norvell say to read the field, pass it to who you like? This play isn't designed for parchment. This play is designed for you. Go through your progressions and find the open receiver.
Yeah, but he did that a lot at UCF, where they would just target one guy a whole damn sequence. They just go to the same guy over and over and over. I mean, if you got a, like they say, what they call a duck, duck, goose.
Yeah.
If you got a good duck, I mean, you just keep going to him. You know what I'm saying? If you got a duck over there that's guard your best guy, so you just keep targeting that guy all the way down.
I feel you. For me, it's the quarterback, because I remember in 2012, EJ was very limited, and it seemed like EJ only targeted one or two guys. And then Jameis comes in, and Jameis opens up the entire field. Like, Jimbo gave him that freedom to do that, where I think EJ was limited. So,
I think in Jimbo's offense, Jimbo gave you the options within the offense. But I think what Jameis did and what Christian Ponder did, and it's why they have issues in NFLs, because they could pre-read a defense early. So they knew what they was doing early and before they even snapped the football. I think, and what's gotten them in trouble in the NFL is that they have a hard time reading the defense after the snap, right? Because they found out they've guessed wrong. They've guessed wrong. When they snap the football, that they're having a harder time, side adjust to the next thing. So, which I think, since we're talking about it, I think Jameis at the Saints, actually what they do fits them a lot better than what they were trying to do at Tampa. But I mean, I think it just depends, man. It just depends. Jimbo was so multiple and had so many things his quarterback could do. His quarterback could check into an option run if he wanted to. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, it really just depends.
But it doesn't sound like you are too mad about Norvell's offensive prowess. What do you think about? Yeah.
No, I think Norvell's going to scheme up points. I think he's a nice.
Yeah, he's a lot more confident.
Yeah, no, I was confident in his ability to coach offense. I mean, I've seen him create yards in a run game. He's put NFL backs in the league. He put backs in the league. I mean, he's done that. I think my problem is with Norvell is he's trying to pride himself as a tactician, but on this level of football, you have to kind of be well-rounded to do everything, right? You have to be. And another thing, I'm not as down on Norvell as I am on the organization of FSU. I think the organization of FSU has failed coaches, right? Like, when you fire a coach after 21 games, it's more than just a coach. You know what I'm saying? Because if people like the coach at LSU, that guy's not a great coach, but he's in a great organization. Right. As an idiot. But if you surround Ed with everything he needs and you allow him just to recruit and say, go Tigers during interviews, that shit can work for a little while. I mean, eventually that should have proven out he'll be fired in 2 or 3 years from now. I mean, he'd be just like Gene Chizik at Auburn. But I felt like FSU did themselves a disservice with Willie, because what they could have did was they could have used his ability to recruit, stack the team up, and if he's a bad coach, he's going to get fired anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, a bad coach is going to get fired regardless. But at least now you got enough talent and you built up the infrastructure where when you hire your next coach, he could just take off and start winning. And I thought that's what FSU did themselves a disservice. You know what I'm saying? So
we definitely need a new AD.
Oh, the new AD is coming.
We need that.
The booster structure, though, is much better than what it used to be.
I about to say that's improved tenfold over the last year.
Yeah, so
last year.
those are things that you can say, like, even though I'm hard on Norvell, I'm more concerned about getting the football ops facility up. I'm concerned about us having a bigger donor base on the grassroots movement, right? Because if you got a bigger donor base on the grassroots movement, the big time boosters can't force coaches in and out of the program like that, right? Because you can say, hey, I don't need your money because I got this grassroots movement going on. And FSU's can get it. You can't have boosters dictating who's hired, who's fired, what quarterback you choose, what quarterback you don't want boosters to have that much influence in your program. You know what I'm saying? So it's important to expand the donor base and have a much better voice and have a real AD that's in charge. Because I thought over the last couple of years we didn't have an AD that was in charge. Like you don't.
No, we don't.
I mean, we had an AD that came out 1 week with Jim a tagger and said this guy's safe and he got all the time in the world. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, you just convened. The boosters convened a meeting behind your back. Bro, like you're not in charge.
Everybody knew for Taggart, it was over after that Wake Forest game.
The Boise game, it was a wrap. Like when he lost the Boise game, they didn't say it out loud, but so after the UF game, people was like, I don't like this guy. That was after the UF game, right? They were like, I don't like this guy. I don't like this guy. And you can't blame people. They watched a shitty ass season, 5 wins, shitty, right? Yeah. But then you go to the first game, you put everything you got into this one basket, right? I got to beat boys. I got to beat boys. And he believed that. He believed it. I got to beat boys. I got to. So he fed that into the team. We got to beat boys.
We came out rolling too.
Right? Give them everything you want, right? And what's funny about that game is if Cam Akers doesn't fumble the football and they're going into that end zone or that, I think right before half, which you're going to put it up, I think they're going to put them up 38-3 or something like that, 38-10. Because Cam fumbles the football in that game.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did fumble it.
He fumbles the football. So they probably win the game, right? But that's always Willie's thing at FSU. If they just would have did that.
I mean, if them two seniors would have picked up that fumble instead of fighting for it,
right?
We won that game. Like, oh man.
So after that game, I had heard that they was like pissed off with him, right? And people was walking to the Moore Center making a big fucking deal about the shit. So after that, he was just like, dude, I'm not going to survive. Like, I'm not going to survive here. Like, you can't, every game, because I think on the Listen Up podcast, we kept saying, must win game number 7. Like, every must win game number 5, right? Because we knew the shit was coming, right? We knew it was coming.
On the wall with him,
yeah, the right was on the wall. So, but that shouldn't happen at a big time university. At a big time university, you got a real AD, and the AD keeps all that chatter down because you got to allow the coach to coach. You know what I'm saying? And what happens is because of that situation, they limited the pool of options after they fired him. Because people like, well, who the fuck is in charge there? Who's in charge of FSU? Nobody knows. You know what I'm saying? We know they're the AD. We know they're the president.
Yeah, they were never going to hire the name they wanted when everybody knew the AD was changing within the next year. I think the president, we're getting a new president as well within the next few months or something like that as well.
Right. So, but like I say, if you get the booster structure cleaned up, all this shit can be fixed within. It takes no time, dude. And I'll be honest with you, I think the structure is better because I see us recruiting better. So they let me know that there is some structure going on, right? Something's going down.
Some smart hires. He made some smart hires.
Well, that and people know how to get. Now you got people that know how to get the job done now. You know what I'm saying?
We're not gonna pretend like, we ain't gonna pretend like.
But you got to get people that know how to do the job, that know how to get things to people. You know what I'm saying? We'll call them duffel bags. Get the duffel bags to the kids.
We do the Publix bags. We doing Publix bags.
Yeah, so
at Tennessee was doing the McDonald's bags. We do the Publix bags in Tallahassee.
Hey, to this day, they Game of Thrones Jeremy Pruitt. To this day,
yeah, absolutely.
It's no way he's cheating like that, bro. He's cheating, absolutely. But it ain't like that, bro.
They wanted out of it, and the only way they could get out of it without paying that buyout was to do what they did, and that's how they did it. And they
knew Phil Foreman wasn't gonna fire him, so they had to get both of them out of there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree with you on that. What else with spring? I mean, I don't really know. What you got?
What do you think about? So we talked about the wide receivers. What do you think about the linebackers? Because we haven't been good at
including or excluding Gainer.
Put Gainer in the group, I guess, for right now. I think he need to be on the edge next to. I think him and Jermaine Johnson need to be rushing the passer. I'm down that hill though. I'm down on that hill though. So
I feel you because I mean,
but I talked to Ingram. I talked to Ingram Smith about this, and he's like, "No, Sam, he needs to be on the inside." I'm like, okay. Ingram know more about football than I do. So
interesting. That's interesting that he would say that. So I was with you last year. I died on the hill. Gainer needs to be on the outside rushing the passer.
Right.
But when they came out, last week that they were moving them inside, I said, okay, I'm gonna surprise everybody. I'm gonna give this a shot. Because when I look at Gainer, you're talking about maybe on the entire team the most talented football player. Am I off by saying that? Am I off when I say Gainer's the best football player probably on the entire team?
No, I think even last year, I think he was a top 3 player on the team last year.
Yeah,
I think it was
easily.
Hamza. Actually, I think it was Hamza, Gainer, and then Samuels. I mean, when I talk about draft potential, when I'm talking about drafting a guy, I think, so, but yeah. What you saying now? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So for me, that's if he's that talented, which I believe he is, at this point, we just need him on the field. Last year, you didn't even have him on the field for majority of the snaps. How does that happen? And yet he still led the team in tackles, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think against North Carolina, I think he played 15 snaps or something like that. Something retarded.
Yeah. How does that happen? So for me, my whole mindset is, okay, if you're going to stand him up, at least he's on the field. Coach Marv, you're going to have to earn your paycheck this year because I haven't been too happy about the linebacker play, to be honest with you. So
yeah, and it's like some guys are getting lost in the shuffle. Deloach starts the season against Georgia Tech, and then he never plays again. And then you got guys like DJ Lundy, who I'm not trying to bash DJ Lundy, man. It is what it is, but he can't run on this level at linebacker against these teams. He can't do it, dude. He can't do it.
Before the start of last season, I said Lundy, if he's going to play linebacker, he's maybe a year or two away. He's got to shed some weight. He's too big. He looks too stiff in the hips, in my opinion.
Right.
In my opinion. As far as Deloach, it doesn't surprise me that they did that with Deloach because Deloach was slotted to play that same position as Gainer.
Right.
And Gainer didn't play. So,
right, but you got these pieces. You got these pieces that you're not. It's like when I watch Deloach to me should be rushing the passer, not as not a defensive end, but as a guy that you bring in on like a third down to blitz front of linebacker position, right?
Okay.
And it's like, but he don't play. Like he don't play. The game you had the most turnovers in, Georgia Tech, he played a lot that game. Then he doesn't play, and it's like, I don't know, and it's like they don't teach. None of the linebackers know how to cover in zone. Period. None of them know how to cover in zone. Period. So it's just like one of those things where they didn't get better at the linebacker position, and they were trying to play young guys, and they were saying like, "Oh, we're just going to live and die with their mistakes." But it's like, I mean, DJ Lundy can't play linebacker at this level. Like, he's never going to be he's never going to beat that running back to the edge. You know what I'm saying? Unless you run the ball, he's a prototypical 4-3 middle linebacker, downhill, popping the fullback in the face. That's who he is. And in football, there is no fucking fullback anymore. There's no fullback anymore.
I just had Freddie on here, and we talked about that. That's a dead position.
It don't exist, dude. And when you do see one, he's been changed over from tight end to fullback, and he's a move tight. He's a move fullback. He's a halfback.
They use him as an H-back. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the guy from the 49ers? Kyle
Kittle's talking about.
Not Kittle's the other guy. It's like another guy they got like Kyle Kajek or something.
Oh, yeah. I can't say his name, but I know you're talking about. That's like he's the last fullback left in the league.
Right. He's like a overweight tight end. And they just they made him a fullback.
Yeah.
So, they just, man, I need them to move. I need them to find a way to get these pieces to start fitting, man. it can't just all be your scheme. Your scheme have to adjust to the guys you got, and you have to win on the fly. You know, I think the one thing I learned under the Taggart era was that you have to find a way to manufacture yards, manufacture defense, manufacture wins in your first year and a half. Even in a rebuild, you still have to do that stuff.
Yeah.
Because shit goes stale really fast. You know what I'm saying? It goes stale fast. So, but what about the 22 class? How you feel about that class? You think they slipped?
Right now, I think McCall's gonna be a battle to the end.
Okay.
I think Sam McCall, because he's originally from Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. And if Bama want to key in on him, it's gonna be tough down the stretch.
Well, if Bama want anybody, it's pretty much done, right?
That one's gonna be tough.
Go find a backup plan.
But as for Hunter, I gotta take Hunter for his word. He been 100% Florida State from the jump, and he claims no wavering. And
FSU has emptied the cupboards to make sure they bring in Travis Hunter. I think they're gonna get. I'm not concerned about Travis Hunter. I think where it gets dicey, that dude Kelly's dicey.
He's shopping himself. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Kelly ends up here, man. I don't think Kelly ends up here, but
that wouldn't shock me. But that's not a huge loss if you get Marvin Jones Jr. If you get Marvin Jones, now if you want both, I feel you.
I think you need both.
But you also got Kenyatta Watson down there, Jr. He's down there. I know they're in on him.
Yeah. Okay.
I know they're in on him. You got some guys still, but I get you. I feel you. We need both. The DN class is pretty deep, especially in South Florida this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got a chance to get a lot of DNs from South Florida, and especially depending on what some of these other schools recruited last year. I don't know if Bama's in a market for those type of guys this year, so you might be in some luck. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Bama and Georgia in there for that, so we'll see.
Got to get that second quarterback, though. We got to get that second quarter. And MJ Morris looks like did you see the interview they did with him?
So I was surprised about the MJ Morris thing, but that's a pleasant surprise, though, because if they get MJ Morris, man, that opens up a lot of doors to do a lot of different things, man, because MJ Morris makes a lot of shit happen for you, all right? So all those kids he's on a circuit with in Atlanta, South Georgia, in the heart of Atlanta, all those kids you're in the door in, you have, especially with Atkins' ability to recruit that area, that does a lot, man. So to me, he's a must get, man. If you're this close, man, you need to close. I agree.
Yeah, I do think Georgia Tech's gonna be a battle, though. I think Georgia Tech got a good ass recruiting staff, and they got a good coaching staff. Period. Yeah. Now that they done gone away from that stupid triple option.
Yeah. I like Jeff Collins. Jeff Collins.
A team in the heart of Atlanta, they're gonna be able to start recruiting some guys.
Yeah, man.
So that's gonna be a battle. But I'm gonna ask you about I'm asking you about my guy, Odell. What's going on with Odell, man?
So
I'm not gonna lie. I defend Odell as much as I can, but the defensive tackle class has been weak the last 3-4 years. And it don't even look like we're in the running for a lot of good guys this year. Go ahead, man.
Go ahead. See, I try to come on your podcast and be positive so people will listen to my podcast. You know what I'm saying?
And then you can fool them.
Now you brought up Odell. Well, I can no longer lie.
Hey.
I can't. Bro.
Odell's killing me. I'm not going to lie. He's killing me right now.
Odell should have been sent out back about 6 years ago. We just keeping it honest, right? If we keeping it real, Odell should have been sent out back 6 years ago. You know what's funny about Odell, dude? You know, I don't know. You know, posting grinds on the timeline, right? Posting grinds.
Yeah.
The reason why I found out about posting grinds because we was all slandering Odell damn at the same time. I was like, oh, y'all slander Odell too? It was like a brotherhood. It was just like us 5 people slandering Odell every time.
Man.
He's terrible. He's terrible. And I'm not saying this. Odell has been a great football coach at FSU. All right, for most of his career. He's put guys in the league. He's recruited top level guys. But just like Bobby Bowden, everybody time comes up, bro. Everybody time comes up, bro. And if you just look at him, and people keep saying, well, if he had a better wins and losses, he would get shit done. That's not true. Go look at Pittsburgh. Look at Pittsburgh defensive tackle coach, that Charlie Partridge. That dude is a grade A defensive tackle coach. They don't win shit at Pittsburgh ever. That dude has recruited Aaron Donald. He's putting guys in the league every single year. Recruit guys, develop guys, they go in the league. Odell is like fucking eating tapioca, watching MASH, you know what I'm saying, going fishing and shit. And like nobody's getting fucking developed, dude. Think about all the players.
Man.
Think about the players. DeMarcus Christmas. Think about it. DeMarcus Christmas. What was he by the time it was all said and done? Wasn't great. Never got better. Guy. Never got better. Ever got better. Robert Cooper. I like Robert Cooper. He makes a play every 5 games. Marv, I mean, we've seen time where Marv's getting pushed 5 yards, 10 yards off the fucking line of scrimmage, dude. And they defensive tackles don't use their hands well. If you ever watch them, they don't use if they don't win at the point of attack, they lose. It's over. Like that's it. If they don't jump off the ball real fast, it's over. And you know why that is? Because that's as much as Odell do. He jumps off the practice field real quick, and everybody like, okay, Odell's here. Then it's like, all right, shit's over now.
You wrong for that.
And you know what's funny? I have to chill on Odell because, you know, I have Everett Dawkins come on my podcast. Me and Everett, we cool. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't slander his coach while he's on the pod. I'll be like, Everett, I need you to get off the podcast. I got some things I need to say real quick. You know what I'm saying? Because Odell's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's Uncle Odell. Like, if you see Odell, he's going to grab you by the shoulders. You know, how you doing, son? Is everything good? What's your mama name? Blah, blah, blah. All that bullshit is great. But his defensive tackles don't do shit in games, dude. They just get blown off the fucking football. Fucking
trying, man. I've been trying to defend him. I've been trying.
Malcolm Ray. Who recruited him? Not Odell. He brought in fucking True Thompson in here. He brought a fucking mighty midget in this motherfucker.
Yeah, he did bring in True.
That's it. And True Thompson's like a little bowling ball. Like nobody's afraid of fucking True Thompson, bro. He's like remember that Boston Red Sox when Pedro Martinez took the dude's head and slammed it over, he fell on the ground. That's True Thompson, bro. That's True Thompson. That's what the fuck we got going on back there, man. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, dude. He's terrible, dude. I mean, like he wanna watch Heat of the Night all night long. They need to just send him there to do it. Like just take him out back. Just take him out back, bro.
You think it's time?
Willie tried to take him out back. Willie tried. Willie gave it a hell of a shot. They wouldn't let Willie take him out back, though. Norvell needs to do it, though. Norvell can get it done.
He got let Norvell do it.
He got what he needed for the protection. He can get it done. He can get Odell ass out of here. I'm telling you, dude. If Norvell don't do shit else in his time at Florida State, he need to fucking fire Odell. I don't care if he lose every fucking game this year. Fire Adam Fuller and Odell at the same goddamn time. That's all you got to do, and I say it's a successful season. He did those 2 things. It's a successful season for me.
What about Dugans? Because I'm about time for Dugans to go my damn self too. But I'm gonna give him a chance. Because at least Dugans is still recruiting pretty well.
Yeah, Dugans do recruit well.
Odell's not even doing that. But at least Dugans. But man, them guys got to learn how to catch the ball.
Dude, Dugans. So this was the knock on Dugans. The knock was coming into the season. His wide receivers don't catch the ball that well, but they block their ass off. Right? That was the thing coming into. No, this was the thing. Dugans coming into Florida State when he left Miami. They was like, man, Miami got the best blocking wide receivers. The motherfuckers can't catch a cold, but they'll block their ass off. Right? So I was thinking, well, you're gonna have 2 wide receiver coaches. So one can teach her to block, the other can teach her to catch, right? So we get to the season, and these motherfuckers don't block or catch. He's terrible too, dude. And I heard he don't really want to be at FSU. I heard it's just a job for him right now. I heard his heart's not really.
They need to get him out of there.
I heard his heart's not really into it like that. I heard that I heard his wife really loved Miami. And she really don't like Florida, like Tallahassee.
You don't like Tallahassee?
Yeah, and I think another thing with Ron Dugas too is you have to remember that his daughter passed away up here too. You know, so I think that can kind of, you've seen a lot of the family, a lot of that stuff bring back a lot of trauma. You know what I'm saying?
Might be messing with him a little bit. I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. But that blocking, well, I've never seen a wide receiver get drafted in the first round because he was a damn good blocker. I'm just gonna say that.
Right. He was damn good. I mean, Ron was a damn good receiver, man. But that's why I'm like, I'm not in favor of hiring Seminoles on staff, like as like position coaches. I am in favor of hiring them behind the scenes, though.
Because for us, it hasn't worked on staff. Like Lawrence Dawsey wasn't a great coach either.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Dawsey got caught
outside of Benjamin and Rashard Green. Name me some other FSU receivers.
But I think Dawson got caught in a time when Alabama was moving towards the spread, and they was like, it was like FSU thought they was gonna get certain guys, and then Alabama come in at the last second and just grab them up. You know what I'm saying? Just snatch them up. Because it used to be Alabama only took one great wide receiver every 3 years. Remember that? They would just take like Julio Jones, Amari Cooper, and then they'll find one. But then they got to a point they're like, we're gonna take Henry Ruggs, we're gonna take Jerry Judy, we're gonna take
everybody. Yeah,
we want all of them. So they got kind of, I think that kind of killed Dawson because I mean, what can you do?
But outside of those guys, man, I think the staff, I think the linebacker coach got a lot to prove. But like I like Coach Yak.
Oh, Yak
running back coach. Yak is good.
Yak is what you need at a running backs coach, right? You need a guy that's gonna pound the pavement and recruit. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he is. You know what I'm saying? But somebody told me that the coach that left, Coach Locks.
Mm-hmm. He went to Western Kentucky, I think. Loxley or something like
somebody
that.
say that he's actually is kind of like the brainchild of Norvell's like teaching the running backs and stuff. That's what somebody told me. I don't know how true that is, but somebody said that
find out.
Yeah, somebody said that though. So we'll see. But I like it's Atkins. I like Atkins. I need to see more out of Woodson. He's a damn good recruiter now.
From on the field, yeah. You need to see more out of Woodson on the field.
On the field. I need to see more on the field from Woodson.
I feel you on that.
And but Yak, Atkins, Woodson, I mean, I think you keep all those guys together for another 2-3 years. I think they can recruit their ass off, man. So I think you got a chance with those guys.
Yeah. All right, yeah. That's what's up. I don't know, man. I think we all right. I think I'm just excited to see. At the end of the day, we're not gonna get anything too big out of a spring, but I'm just excited to see what they running. I want to see how Gaynor looks standing up. I mean, just how people bodies look. I mean, pause, but you know what I mean. Like,
no homo.
Yeah, just those type of things is what I'm interested in seeing, man.
Yeah, I think I just think we have to, as fans, we got to define what's winning, man. You know, I keep saying that and people keep laughing at me, but I mean, we got to define what's winning. So we got to, can we start being in games in the fourth quarter, the last 6-7 games of the season, and find a way to win 3 or 4 games that we don't expect, 2 or 3 games that we don't expect to win. And I think if we can do that, then I think that going into the next season, you will be optimistic to say that we're going to win 9 games. That's just my opinion. So
yeah, I think 9 games is a bit of a stretch.
Next year, I don't think of that crazy, right?
Next year? Did you talk about this upcoming year or the year following?
Oh, the year following. I'm saying.
Okay.
I think next year we're going to win. I think this year we're winning 6. Then I think next year we got a chance to springboard it to 9. So I want to see him set the table. Okay. I want to see him set the table to a 9-win season the following season.
Now the only way you're getting that 9 is if this recruiting class can stay intact.
Right.
That's what I think.
Yeah, that's true. But we'll see though. I
think the problem, a little bit of the problem with that following year. Who's your quarterback for that 9?
I think Jordan Travers, right? I mean, you get an extra year.
He'll still be here. He'll still be
here. Yeah, he'll still be here.
Okay.
So you got a lot of
faith. You still got a lot of faith in. Okay.
I think from what I heard, he's really been passing the ball well.
I've heard he's been way better. So
I heard that from somebody that was at practice that told me that. It was like, man, he does look different throwing the football.
I've heard the same thing.
So if he continues to develop, even if he don't play this year, he continues to develop in practice. And I think a lot of the passing the ball too is going to have to deal with how developed that your wide receivers get, right? So if the wide receivers get developed, I think he might be all right. So that's my opinion. I mean, I think it could be all right.
So you say 6 games?
Yeah, I got us around 6 and 7. If they sustain a shitload of injuries, though, may not be a bowl game. So
yeah, I mean, yeah. If you
prepare yourselves for that.
Knock on wood on that. Hopefully you don't get hurt.
Definitely do that. Definitely do that. So we'll see, man. But I am excited though. I'm going to the spring game. I'm excited. I'm gonna be there. I'm excited to watch it all unfold. I really
wish I could go.
Yeah, man. I didn't know you was in Hawaii, man. I'm like, damn, you in Hawaii?
Yeah, man.
Normally I've worked over there before. Because I work on submarines and everything like that. So, I've taken little trips here and there. So yeah, man. But Hawaii's a different place, man. They upcharge the hell out of liquor over there too, man. It's crazy.
Man, it's expensive over here.
Dude. I mean, milk's like $9. It's ridiculous.
I'm in the military, so that's why I'm over here.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. Yep. So what else you got for me, man? You got anything else for me? Or I don't want to keep you too long. I know you said you had something coming through. I don't know how that's working out for you.
We gonna see. Nah, man, I think that's it for me, man. I appreciate you having me on, man. This part, your YouTube channel, man, is off the hook, man. You got some funny people in this YouTube channel. I had to scroll right here. I'm sure I've been reading them. These guys got
man, I'm telling you.
Yeah, you got some guys, man. But I appreciate it, man. And we gotta do a crossover. I gotta get you on my show, man. I'm gonna put a panel together. So it's probably gonna be like me. I'm probably gonna get Big Game. And I'll probably get Staley back on again, and I'll probably get Doc. I'll probably get every Dawkins on, either him or Freddie. We're gonna get like a little panel together and do a show, man, after the spring game. So I definitely have to invite you on for it.
Anytime you want me, bro, let me know. I'll be more than happy to come over there.
Yeah, man, and you keep these people in line, man. You got some characters up here, man.
You haven't even seen it yet. Wait till the season start, man. Wait till the season start.
Hey, FSU Rose, you that guy, man. FSU Rose, that guy. That's that guy right there. He cool.
He on Twitter. Yeah, he be following you on Twitter too.
Yeah, man. Don't take my tweets too serious. Right now, I got some other shit going on right now. I think I'm trending.
No, I saw that. I saw that.
Hey. I don't want to get political on your show, but that shit funny.
Sam crazy. If you don't, follow him. Go follow Sam on Twitter. He crazy, man.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna put my Twitter.
Put it in there.
Man, for y'all, man. That's just crazy, man.
More Life 1, man. Y'all don't follow Sam.
And let me I'm gonna drop the podcast links in there too. Let me drop this in there, man. But this is a good time, man. You gotta, when you do these shows, you have to let me know. I'll jump on every now and then because sometimes I don't be doing nothing.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely.
When I ain't got my son, I'm game for anything.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah, man. So you enjoy Hawaii, enjoy the beaches, go nose all the time, and man, I think that'll do it for you, boy.
All right, man. You have a good night, bro. I appreciate you.
All right, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of the show, man. How much longer you going? Another hour?
Nah. I might do about 30 more minutes.
All right, man. Well, y'all enjoy, man.
Minutes. All right, bro. Appreciate you.
Yo.
All right, man. That was good, man. That was fun. Shout out to Sam coming on again. That's the Listen Up podcast. You see him right there in the chat. Go subscribe to that YouTube channel and go follow Sam on Twitter, man. Sam's funny. They do good stuff over there. And hit the like button. Hit the like button. How many people we got in here? Got 47 and 32 likes. Oh, y'all tripping. Y'all tripping. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. We are at 967, inching so look, 3 more and we'll be 30 away from 1,000. Let's get this 970 tonight and let's get 30 away from 1,000 subscribers. We are getting close. Every stream, we're getting close. Also, if you haven't checked it out, man, go over there to Mark Rogers TV. He's got 3 separate videos where we talk some Florida State football. Go like those videos. Go share those videos. But we're at that time of the show, guys. Maiden Day, say check the cash app. All right, shout out to Maiden Day for the donation. Let me make sure Shout out to Maiden Day. He say for 7 wins and y'all will finish with a top 10 class. Shout out to Maiden Day for the $10. Appreciate you, big dog. Appreciate you. Todd Pope, what's going on? FSU is killing UF. 7-0 on UF, 2 runners on with nobody out, though. So they might get a couple across. What inning is it? What inning is it in the baseball game? I saw you on Mark Rogers. Yes, sir. We was over there on Mark Rogers doing a little bit. Plan on doing more stuff with him as well. So, as you can see, man, we had Freddie on, last week? Shout out to Freddie. If you guys haven't checked out Freddie's book, go do that. Trials to Triumph. I got mine. Matter of fact, where is it? I think it's in my backpack. I took it to work. 5th inning. Oh, there's still a lot of baseball left there. But we had Freddie on last week. Again, go check out his book, Trials to Triumph. Doing Mark Rogers, Listen Up podcast with Sam. We're doing things, man. We're doing things. Now we'll get into this. What's going on, Tim? Larry Woodson. Let's get to the questions. We'll do some Q&A. If y'all got some questions y'all want to ask, go ahead and shoot the questions in the chat. We'll get to those. If not, that's really all we got for today. So again, I said about 30 more minutes if y'all want to do some questions. If not, let me know and we can cut it short. We still got 46 people in here, man. So if y'all ready to get with the business, let me know. Rose said his book is on the way. Absolutely. Yeah, my book I think I left my book in the truck. I meant to bring it on here so I could show you guys that I got it. I think I left it in the truck. Kane Zay says, for the boxing fans. All right, yes. Shout out to Kane Zay. And most importantly, shout out and rest in paradise to Marvelous Marvin Hagler. One of the all-times greats. Had that fight with Tommy Hearns is still one of the most entertaining fights you'll ever watch. Shout out to Marvelous Marvin Hagler. BB, what's going on? Antonio says, you think Jermaine Johnson gonna dominate the ACC? Jermaine Johnson. Dominate is a strong word. What I like from Jermaine, from what I've seen, quick first step, but he has an attitude. I listened to an interview of his, and his attitude was 100 to me. Like, the attitude he gave off, I'm excited to see. I don't know what dominate is. But if Jermaine Johnson can get us 8 to 10 sacks, I'm with it. If Jermaine can get us 8 to 10 sacks, that'd be way more than what we haven't gotten in previous years, right? We haven't had that since Brian Burns. If we can get 8 to 10, I'm good. Any more than that, then maybe that is dominating. 8 to 10, I'm looking at hoping for 8 to 10. Do you think the pass rush is the number one issue? Interesting, Todd. Interesting. Number one issue. Defensively, I guess you can make that argument. Defensively, yeah. I mean, I know the DBs are a big question, but I feel like if Jermaine Johnson is dominating like Antonio says, if we can get him double-digit sacks, and not only that, but he's getting constant quarterback pressures, if they can find somebody opposite of him. Maybe at the beginning of the year, we don't get a steady pass rush opposite of Jermaine Johnson, but maybe Patrick Payton or George Wilson can, by mid-year, can play enough to get some time on the edge on the other side, then yeah, maybe the pass rush improves to the point where the DBs aren't covering that long. That improves the entire defense. Yeah, it might be. Pass rush might be the number one issue going into the year. We'll see. Is Travis Hunter a more important recruit than Cam? Cam who? Cam Akers? Cam who, Tyler? I'm confused. Just for clarification, so or you're talking about somebody this year. I don't think you're talking about nobody this year. Okay, yeah, you're talking Cam Akers. Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I don't think Travis Hunter is our most important recruit. And I know that's crazy to say that because, he's the best best high school player in the country, offense, defense, all world. I got it. To me, the most important commit who would be more important than Cam. See, Cam, the thing with Cam, I get Cam was like one of the most highest rated FSU players ever, but at the end of the day, that was still a running back. Cam Akers still, correct me if I'm wrong, Cam Akers still came in with another 5-star in Kalen LeBourne, and Saquandre White was a highly touted running back in that same class. I don't know if Cam Akers was, to me, I don't feel like Cam was that important. But when you look at this year, yes, Travis Hunter is huge. But I think if FSU can't close out on these legacies, I mean, what is that saying about the program that in 2 straight years you can't get these legacy recruits? I mean, look at some of the legacy guys that FSU's missed out here on recent years. Devin Bush goes to Michigan. Corey Collier goes to Florida. You feel me? So to me, Marvin Jones is probably the most important commit this year. You got to get Marvin Jones Jr. His name is Marvin Jones. Like, there's no way that kid should be playing anywhere but Florida State with who his father was. We missed out on Brandon Jennings. We haven't been able to sign any legacy guys in the last few years. I think your most important guys are the legacy kids. And that's no knock on Travis Hunter at all, because we know the talent that he is. I think the most important recruit, man, is Marvin Jones and our mill. You got to get, preferably, obviously, you want both, but you got to get one of the two. You have to get one of the two. I have a feeling some more Taggart guys are going to be hitting the portal after the spring game. I think I talked about it a little last week. One guy that I would expect to hit the portal, if he doesn't up it up this spring, is Jordan Young. Because I keep saying Dustin Hill is on his way. I know people like Ontario Wilson. I'm not a big guy on Ontario Wilson on the outside. I think if you put him in the slot, you're going to get a lot more out of him there. Parchment is still on his way. Malik McLean, again, Jordan Young is the guy that I think might be the odd man out. Other than that, though, I don't know how many Taggart guys are even left on the roster. To be honest with you, other than Jordan Young, I don't know. I don't think we'll be losing anybody else. I feel Jordan Travis is going to lead y'all, and I don't believe that's a bad thing. Parchment or Dustin Hill, bigger playmaker. Parchment's going to be the guy. I mean, Parchment just released a video the other day. I retweeted it. He's in I think he's in Miami practicing with like Dalvin Cook and a bunch of other NFL players. Like Parchment's he's doing that on that level. So year one, yeah, Parchment's going to be the guy year one. How come you are not having a cold tonight? No cold for me. I feel good. Funny question. Do you play with your rivals on Dynasty mode? No, I don't. I'm trying to think of a time that if I ever did, and I can't think of a time I ever did. You like Brownlee and Moore? I like Moore at one spot. That other spot for me is so up for grabs. It could be Brownlee. It could be Dent. It could be Tate. It could be Jerry Jones. I just want the best guy. I do think Moore is going to lock down one of those spots, though. Hey, Wanda Smith, how are you tonight? Hey, Polk, how are you doing? Everyone has heard about Breeze retiring, but y'all think he stays for 1 year? Who, Drew or Jameis? You talking about Drew or Jameis, Wanda? I think Jameis signed a 1 year deal, if I'm not mistaken. Jameis is gonna have to. If we're talking Jameis has this 1 year. Jameis has this year to prove that a team needs to sign him to a long-term big money deal. This is Jameis's one opportunity, because I think if he goes out there and he messes it up, I'm not sure he's ever going to get another shot again. As for Breeze, I think Breeze is done. I don't think he's going to stay another year. Y'all make sure to check your bank accounts in the morning. Moneybag Joe dropping them stimmies. We ended up with the Kalen Brooks. That's the only legacy. You're right. That's the only legacy guy. I didn't even mention Shadur Sanders because Deion's son. But again, you look at the legacies, man, we're not getting them. Bama kids go back to Bama. All these other schools. The Miami kids, you go to Miami. Can't show me too many Miami kids that don't go back unless Miami's not recruiting them. I just don't know why we can't get out. Marvin Jones Jr. to me is the number one priority in my opinion. Give me Jerry Jones and Demore Tate. Okay. You FSU Rose is high on Jerry, and Marvin Jones should be the linebacker coach. I think Hunter is more important than the legacies personally. He has already done so much for this class. Those guys and listen ups are very negative, man. This is a 7-win season. That's coming from Kusami Hayes. What do you think about the wide receiver commit last week? For his size and what they're gonna use him for, he's a fine player. You got him. You got McAdoo. He can't be your number one wide receiver prospect. Obviously, he's not. Now, if you can pair him with Saunders or Coleman being a 5-star, Saunders being a highly touted 4-star that's already committed to Penn State, and you can round out that wide receiver class, I'm fine with it. Speed. So I'm fine with it. I'll take a South Florida kid any day of the week. So I'm very fine with it. Wayne, where you been at, man? How you doing tonight? UF got 2 runs. Okay. By the way, I finally saw the Mark. Yeah, because he finally posted them. Shout out to Mark Rogers. But what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna start keeping my mouth shut. Or maybe I just need to ask more questions. At first I assumed we were doing a live stream. Then I found out we weren't doing a live stream. Then I thought, okay, we were gonna do this interview and he was gonna post it right after that. Then didn't realize he was going to be releasing 3 separate parts of the interview. Maybe next time I'll just ask more questions and keep my mouth shut before I start telling you guys, hey, go check Mark Rogers TV. But shout out to Mark. I actually think the way he did it, releasing the 3 different parts, is actually better than what I thought he was going to do. So no complaints from me. I just misled you guys a little bit. Not drinking tonight, man. It's a Tuesday. I don't really drink on the weekdays like that. It's a Tuesday. I got to work tomorrow. I need Parchment to work out more and stay out of the recording studio. How good is Hunter Washington? You never talk about him because Hunter Washington isn't on campus yet. There's nothing to talk about. We expect him to be good. I think I saw he's been working out on his own. Hunter Washington does not come till summer, fall time. I got Young, McCray, Green McKnight leaving after the spring. Green McKnight's an interesting one because you don't hear nothing from him. So I could see Green McKnight potentially leaving. I don't know about McCray. I follow McCray. He seems to be all in, but who knows? And Young, I already mentioned him. What's going on, Mr. H. Got a bad feeling my Dolphins are gonna trade Tua. I think Sidney Williams gonna get playing time at safety. Stimmy gang. Bama got them money bags. Them in Georgia. I need Rice to finally step up. He's been here half a decade. Yeah, absolutely. Odell slander will not be tolerated. You don't know how much it actually hurts me, man, to say those things. You don't know how much it hurts me to say those things. I like Odell. But man, before I would be like, nah, Odell's still an elite recruit. We're not even in the running for any of the top defensive tackles. We're recruiting DBs like it's nobody's business. It looks like we're going to have a pretty damn good defensive end class. I mean, even the offensive line recruiting is picked up under Atkins. We're going to be signing 2 blue chip quarterbacks most likely. Probably going to sign 2 running backs. I mean, look at the receiver. Every position looks like we're recruiting fairly well, except for 2, linebacker and the damn defensive tackles, man. I don't want to talk about it, but man, it's time to talk about it. It might be time for Odell to hang it up, man. I think if Travis starts the season, Purdy will transfer out. That'd be interesting. Did you hear about the ACC eliminated the interconference transferring? Thoughts? No, I didn't hear about that, Lorenzo. But if that's true, I mean, that's how it kind of used to be. So my thoughts don't really change. It used to be, except I think a school. So it used to be if you committed to Alabama could tell you, you can't transfer. You can transfer anywhere in the country, but you can't go to Auburn, Tennessee, and I don't know, picking up. They would pick and choose where you could go and where you couldn't go, or you can't transfer to anybody in the SEC West. That would kind of be. That's kind of how it used to be anyway. So, you know, Hunter Washington looks like he's gotten taller. Rice gets a good on the back half of the season. You know, Rice has had that trend the last 2 years where he starts the season off and you're like, man, this guy hasn't gotten any better. And by the end of the last 2 years, I feel like he's played his best football. Can he put that together for an entire season is going to be the question for Emmett Rice. Odell hasn't got nobody in the trenches. Not really, man. Appreciate the rent. Absolutely. That's a poor analyzing and evaluation on Odell and Marv's part. It can't be that hard to find good tackles and linebackers here. I remember we used to recruit linebackers like they fell out of the tree. And Coach Marv can't get one. He has to be called out for that. And yeah, Odell, like Sam said, maybe it's Odell is being similar to Bobby Bowden at this point, where you were great in your prime, probably the best in the business when you were at your best. Got players in the league, first round level draft picks, recruited elite blue chip 5-star guys. But just look at the last 3-4 years. We can't even recruit any guys. We didn't recruit one true defensive tackle this year. Last year, we recruited one guy at D tackle who didn't academically qualify. So he's at some JUCO. And like Sam said, the only guy he's brought in here is True Thompson. His time is up. Coach Marv was so hyped coming in. Yeah, he was supposed to be this great linebacker coach. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it yet. And Antonio says we need new energy. So I don't have no problem criticizing Coach Marv. It does hurt me to criticize Coach Odell, though. I'm not going to lie. I don't like talking about it. But I do think I have a responsibility to be honest. I think that's one of the reasons why you guys come over here and chop it up with me, because I give you my honest takes and my honest opinions, and I don't steer you guys in one direction or another, right? I don't have a motive. I don't have an agenda. I just tell you how I see it. And if I got to tell you how I see it, it's Odell is he's falling off a cliff, man. We'll see. The only defensive tackle I know for a fact that they're even in the running for at this point is that kid out of Louisiana. He was a Destin Hill's teammate. And I gotta guess if he's Dustin Hill's teammate, Coach Yak probably has a big part in that recruitment more so than Odell. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. Coach Marv, most overrated. Go get that pit. Yeah, Sam mentioned him, man. Go get him. Marv is definitely in over his head. It seems like it, what you wouldn't have expected coming from Mississippi State. It's not like Coach Marv came from Memphis or, Rice or something crazy like that. The man coached linebackers at Mississippi State in the SEC. But if you can't recruit linebackers at Florida State, there's a big problem because FSU's never had a problem recruiting top-tier linebackers. Nigel Bradham's of the world and guys like that. We've never. Christian Jones was a 5-star linebacker. Again, I mentioned Nigel Bradham, Ernie Sims. Freddie Stevenson. We had Freddie on. I know we all know Freddie ended up being a fullback, but he was recruited as a linebacker. A lot of guys, man. Reggie Northup, who, by the way, if you guys aren't paying attention to Reggie Northup right now, he's an MMA fighter. He fights MMA. This dude's a beast. Go watch Reggie Northup in his MMA stuff. He's killing guys. He's destroying guys. Shout out to Reggie. But all those linebackers, Vince Williams, like, we've never had a problem recruiting these linebackers, and now all of a sudden it's like we can't even get solid linebackers on the field, man. I don't want to write the book on Marv yet, but it's time to show up or pack up. Absolutely, Tyler. Couldn't even get Malone. Yeah, you couldn't close on Malone, and you lost him to what? Who? Ole Miss. Couldn't even close on Malone. Like, I agree, Antonio. Like, at some point, man, it is what it is. I've been close to Odell for over 30 years since he played here, but I call a spade, or I wouldn't be genuine. It's time. His time has passed. Shout out to Wayne Tillman for just keeping it 100. You can't put it any better than what Wayne Tillman just said. I have those exact same sentiments. You got to call a spade, and I wouldn't be on here giving y'all the content y'all want, being genuine like I always am, if I didn't just say how I felt. And it sucks to call that for Odell, because I think Odell, again, FSU legend. And if Odell wants a spot off the field somewhere in the back, you give it to him. Give it to him. You give Odell whatever he wants, but on field coaching these defensive tackles, it just might be time. Well, I'm not even going to say might be. It's time to move on. It's time to move on. No doubt about that. Excellent comment from Wayne. Odell just sitting in the back in his compression socks. Yeah, losing Malone. Yeah, I agree, man. You losing Malone, that's tough. Losing Malone is tough. Now, I never thought we were going to get him, and I always said, give me Hill over Malone, because I think at that time I thought, man, you just need an infusion of talent at that wide receiver room. It looks like that wide receiver room's coming along. But now it's time to address this defensive tackles, because after this year, I mean, Coop's going pro. Fabian Levitt has the option to go pro. Briggs has the option to go pro. I mean, who's going to be playing defensive tackle next year? Anybody know? Assuming a guy like Fabian Levitt comes back. Who's behind them? We don't know who. You're hoping Joshua Farmer puts the weight on to be a serviceable defensive tackle. Probably won't be this year. Next year, Chambry Jackson, you hope, can put the weight on. But, I mean, these are guys, those two guys that I specifically just mentioned are guys that you're trying to transform into a defensive tackle. You're hoping, and this is why I was never a fan of doing this with Chambry Jackson. But once I realized you got to do what you got to do, okay, here we are. But I was never a fan of it, because now what you're essentially hoping with Chambry Jackson and Joshua Farmer is that you can put 30 to 40 pounds on these kids and they're going to move the same, be as explosive, have the same amount of stamina. I mean, you can go down a list of things. The only way to ensure, and it's not even ensuring because it's still a gamble, but the only way to have the highest probability of that is that you have to be gradual with the weight gain. You have to put the weight gain on in the right ways, in the right areas, which means Joshua Farmer, Shambrick Jackson might not be seeing the field for definitely year one if you're talking about defensive tackle. So they're definitely not going to be seeing the field as freshmen. They're probably not going to see the field as a redshirt freshman. They might not get any impact until year 3 or 4. And then we're talking redshirt sophomore, redshirt junior. I mean, this is what it is. Shout out to Rose, man. Shout out to Rose. When you going to work, man? Have a good day, a good night at work, bro. I think these kids probably know Odell is about to head out. The question is, does Odell see that he needs to go? Or will he have to be forced out? If so, then that could get ugly. That's an interesting thing right there, Irv. He's garnered in gold all the way. I don't know. Bobby didn't think it was his time either, you know. But FSU had proven, in hindsight, we know FSU was right that it was time to push Bobby out at that time because of what all that Jimbo Fisher ended up accomplishing. We need Papuchis picking up Odell's slack. Odell still teaching 92 techniques. He's had a date. Kids can't relate to him anymore. Quite sure they've tuned him out. Seen Shamble in the gym to FSU. Dude has gotten huge. I'm sure he has gotten huge. I'm sure Farmer's getting big, but again, the right weight. Because not only do you have to put weight on these dudes, then they have to acclimate themselves to said weight to play at the same speed that they're used to playing at, or at least be somewhat effective. Like it's a whole process. You just don't put weight on a guy and say, okay, well, you're a defensive tackle now. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't really work that way. It's real sad when the only wins that Jim Harbaugh is getting these days are kids that should be legacy linebackers for us. Absolutely, Wayne. Raymond James, what's going on? Let Odell decide when to call it quits. Well, see, that's the problem, though, squad. I know we want to be respectful to Coach Hagens. I know that. We all love him. He represents the university in a positive light. All that. We get all of that. But if you let Odell decide when to call it quits, you're falling behind the wayside when it comes to this defensive tackle development and recruiting. The game at the end of the day, I don't care who you got at quarterback, wide receiver, whatever. The game at the end of the day is run in the trenches. It's run in the trenches. If you can't block and if you can't get penetration, what are we doing? You can't win football games. If we can't get elite, this is Florida State. We're talking Darnell Dockett, Corey Simon, Timmy Jernigan, Eddie Goldman. The list goes on of defensive tackles that we've had at this university. We got to be able to put defensive tackles. Derek Nandi, who's in the NFL right now. We got to be able to get these defensive tackles on the football field and recruit them. And right now, in the last 3-4 seasons, we ain't even been able to recruit them. We're holding on that Coop can eventually morph into something, you know? I don't know, man. I just don't think if you let Odell decide, who knows? You're doing something real special for the nose. Just keep it up. Appreciate that, Anthony. I'm just doing me. I'm just doing me. So if people like you appreciate what I'm doing and just support it, bro, share it, hit the like button by all means. But most importantly, share the video. Let's keep growing this thing. But if you like it, I love it, man. So thank you. POLK, I don't believe it will happen this year, but what happens if we win every game other than Robert? If we win every game other than, so what is that? 10-2? We go 10-2. We're playing we go 10-2 with our losses being the Gators and the Tigers. We'll assume that Clemson runs the table and goes undefeated, because with only one ACC loss, we're right in the mix for an ACC championship. What if Clemson loses 2 games this year? Clemson's not going to go every year only winning 1 or no games. There's going to be a year where they hiccup and lose 2 or 3. We've seen it with Bama. We've seen it with other elite programs. It happens. It's a chance that with that record, we're playing in the ACC title. Definitely going to be in the New Year's Six Bowl. I mean, man, what do I believe will happen if we go 10-2? The college football world won't want that. The state of Florida won't want that for sure. Even with the loss to Florida, going 10-2, as long as Dan Mullen's coaching the Gators, we're gonna run the recruiting scene in Florida. FSU kind of needs to stop bringing in coaches, kids, and old players as coaches. Put us in some horrible positions when I agree with that, Tyler. When it's time to fire these guys, yeah, it looks bad. It looks bad. I think it's one of the reasons why Jimbo never got rid of Lawrence Dawsey, who I never thought was a great wide receivers coach personally. I never thought he was a great wide receivers coach. And if I'm not mistaken, Lawrence Dawsey isn't working anywhere else. So that kind of proves my point there. And I remember hearing that Jimbo didn't want to fire Dawsey, 1, because of their relationship, and 2, him being a former Knoll. He wasn't sure how that would. But Jimbo was so, I don't know. Jimbo could have made that move. He was untouchable. People were going to ride whatever decision he made. Obviously, he made the wrong decision and he left us. Or maybe it was the right one. Who knows? But yeah, you got to be careful when you talk about bringing in these legacy guys. Strictly talking coaching. I think kids, no, you need to recruit the legacy kids, man. Because and this is my opinion. But if the kids who grew up fans of your school, who fathers played at this school, who fathers bleed garnet and gold, if those kids don't even want to attend your university, that's a bad look on recruiting. How can I convince the number 2 wide receiver out of St. Louis, Missouri, that Florida State's the spot for him, when we can't even convince Marvin Jones Jr., the namesake, Shade Tree Jr., to come be a Seminole? You feel what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying there? And that's why I believe that the legacy commits are the most important commits. I get that Hunter is all world. I know that. And Hunter is recruiting for us. I got it. But in my opinion, again, it's just my opinion, if you can't convince Marvin Jones Jr., you couldn't convince Brandon Jennings, you couldn't convince Corey Collier, you couldn't get Shadur Sanders. Like, if you can't convince the kids of these legacy players to come to Florida State, bro, I don't know. I think it's a bad look. Dan Squatch, yeah, man, you rolling in late. Somebody just asked the question, what happens if we went 10-2? That's all. Nobody's expecting us to go 10-2, believe me. Norvell got asked about today, but I'm going to keep saying it's Sidney Williams is coming. I hope so. I think, yeah, Norvell did mention him today in his press conference, if I'm not mistaken. FSU is winning 7-2, bottom of the 6, no outs. I think Travis J should have a big year. I think Travis J would be fine. We beat Notre Dame, it's a wrap. We going 10-2. Loss comes from Florida and Boston College. I won't go that far, but I do think if you beat Notre Dame, in my opinion, if you beat Notre Dame game 1, I think at worst you go into that Clemson game, 6-1? Yeah, at worst. Because I still think that North Carolina game in Chapel Hill, prime time, is going to be a tough game. They're going to want revenge. But if you beat Notre Dame game 1, I think at worst you're 6-1 going into Clemson. Beating Notre Dame could be a springboard it could be. Losing to them could be a thing too. All we have to hope is that even if they lose that game, is that they don't get that they can bounce from it. And Tyler says, can we finally win a season opener? Exactly. And I'm confident in this one. If there's one thing I can say, I know Sam might not have been confident, and some of you guys might not be, but I think this Notre Dame game is good for us. I really do. I'm very optimistic about it. You got to remember about the legacies. Every year since the Natty has been downhill, they were 10 and 11 back then. I get it, but come on. And like Tyler says, you can't. Yeah, if you go out there and it's a repeat of last year, then I don't even know. I don't even know what I'll do that night after the game. I'll probably get on here and have my greatest rant video of all time if we get blown out by Notre Dame game 1. I'm not even gonna lie. But like, there you go. You start out 1-0. We'll see what happens there. But I'm gonna end it here, guys. Shout out to everybody in the chat who came through and showed love. Hit that like button. If you didn't hit the like button on your way in, please hit the like button on your way out. Shout out to Sam from the Listen Up podcast. Again, go check out that one, man. Go subscribe to him. Check those guys out. They give a different perspective. But at the end of the day, we all one big Florida State family. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Again, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Let me check real quick. I think we're going to end the stream with 968 subscribers, man. So we're still trying to get I'm chipping at this 1,000 week by week, as you can see. Again, go check me out on Mark Rogers' channel. I'm over there, got a couple interviews. We making waves, man. We doing a little bit over here. I'm just trying, having fun with it, having a good time. And I got more stuff, man. I got more stuff on the horizon, man. It's not going to stop here. Everybody have a good, safe night. I do have to figure out what I'm going to do for this 1,000. I haven't even thought of it yet, but I'm going to do something. I don't know what, but I'm going to try to do something pretty big. Have a good, safe night, guys. Again, check me out on Podbean or Spotify. If you can't watch me while you're driving or whatever, whatever the case. And you can only listen into the audio. Podbean or Spotify is where you want to go. And at the end of the day, stay classy, Seminoles. It's your boy POLK over here on 863 Seminole TV. Stay classy. Go Noles. And we at you. Have a great night, everybody.